Insomniacs and troubled sleepers of Reddit, when you wake up at 3 a.m. and can't fall back asleep, what do you do?
Lie there for hours and feel like shit in the morning. Occasionally take a shower.
I simply wallow in misery. Thank you for asking.
Same here. I lay there annoyed that I'm not asleep and then start thinking about all my personal failings until I fall back asleep half an hour before the alarm.
I never have enough time during the day to dwell on all my regrets, and the extra 2 to 3 hours in the middle of the night really helps me get around to it.
Get up, get a glass of water in the kitchen, check doors are locked, brush teeth, and most importantly, go pee, then go back to bed. If that doesn't work, try the self-loathing option above.
I do a reset. If I can't get back to sleep, I get up and walk through my bedtime routine again and then get back into bed. It usually works.
Sounds like a good idea, but my bedtime routine is just to go to bed.
I used to have insomnia in middle school, and having a set bedtime routine really helped with convincing my brain that it was indeed time to go to sleep. Before that, I would just put my PJs on, turn off the light, and go to sleep.
Stupid question, but what do you consider a routine? I brush teeth, undress, lay down.
I start by making sure all of my stuff is prepared for tomorrow, like homework, I'm still in school, and my outfit. Might sound stupid, but preparing an outfit in the morning really stresses me out, to the point where I have trouble falling asleep. After that, I make sure I'm not hungry or thirsty and everything I need is on my bedside table: water, tissues, hand cream, and other stuff. I make sure to take my meds. I take a shower and go through all of my skincare routine. After that come PJs, brushing my teeth, and toilet stuff. Then I go to my room. If it's winter, I make sure my radiator isn't going to heat my room too much, turn on my night lamp, close the door, turn off the lights. After I finally lie down in my bed, I pick out an ambient sound to play on my phone, put it on the charging pad, apply hand cream, turn off my night light, and go to sleep. I have done that for over 6 years now, and while I appreciate spontaneity during the day, I find that having a set routine at night really helps me fall asleep and stay asleep.
Tissues, hand cream, and other stuff. Useful when your body suddenly jerks itself awake at night.
I'm a girl with dry hands and allergies, lol, but I see your point.
I have hand lotion by my sleeping place too. I work around water and wash my hands a lot, especially since I have a public-facing job. I used to put it away if I had company coming, but now I just laugh about it if they bring it up. I tell them I keep the lube in the kitchen to grease my baking pans.
My bedtime routine, which I often neglect but am trying to commit to, is a winding down routine. I stop looking at screens an hour before bed, brush teeth, wash face, get into whichever sleep attire I need, etc. If I'm not super exhausted, I read a book to try to get myself in the mood to sleep. I also make sure I've cleaned up whatever I did that day just so I don't stress over it while I'm trying to sleep, so put away leftovers, do dishes, tidy up the living room, put laundry in dryer, etc. A sleep routine should be a sequence of things you do to disengage your brain from your surroundings. They take a while to acclimate to, but you'll see improvements if you stick with the parts that help you de-stress/unwind.
This is what I do. Also, as an insomniac, having a clear bedtime routine is key. It sometimes means missing out on stuff, but it keeps me sane. I do a half cup of chamomile tea, a 20-minute relaxing yoga session, and then a warm shower where I go immediately to bed. The natural cooling of your body from the shower is a good indicator to your body that it's sleep time. Also, as much as I miss it, cutting down hard on both caffeine and alcohol is huge. I still struggle sometimes, but it's the exception and not the rule these days. Living life on more than 2 to 4 hours a night is a game changer.
Oh, never thought of doing that, might try it next time, smiley face.
I usually listen to a podcast rather than look at anything on my phone. I find that the light from the screen only makes it less likely that I'll be able to fall asleep again. Edit, thank you so much for the awards. Really looking forward to trying all the suggested shows.
I use a meditation app that also has something called sleep stories, which are basically bedtime stories for adults. They range in topics from rules of tennis to stories about traveling through mountains by train and such. I find it similar to podcasts, but as the topics are not that engaging, it helps me fall asleep better. Edit, the app is calm, has tons of very professional content, and someone in the comments said that if you have Amex you get a year subscription for free, so check it out.
I agree, Calm is my go-to. I wear a set of soft sleep headphones that I bought for about $20. The story I listen to on repeat is called The Shipping Forecast, and it's a British guy reading weather patterns for particular shipping routes for sailors. It's complete nonsense to me, so I don't get too involved in the story.
One of the Calm app voiceover creators has a YouTube channel called The French Whisperer. It has hundreds of 1 to 3 hour videos on tons of various topics, and the guy's voice is like butter. French butter. I'm out cold in 20 minutes every time.
Shout out to the French Whisperer. He is a goddamn ASMR magician. I would also recommend Dan Jones and Christopher Fitton if you're into long, boring sleep stories. Their voices are magical.
I get up for the day. I've had some days where I'm running on half an hour of sleep. It truly sucks, but I don't know what else to do. If I just lay there, I never actually fall back asleep and usually end up getting out of bed a few hours later.
Consider seeing a sleep doctor/therapist. Saved my life.
I'm considering this. Can you share more about your experience?
In my situation, I obviously have some kind of problem. Maybe it is CTE, maybe ADHD, maybe a combination of those, or some other mental illness such as schizophrenia. Brain waves resemble, but tests have not confirmed. Anyway, my brain is not great. The sleep clinic did some lighter than more intrusive tests, culminating with a sleep test. They diagnosed me with a significantly advanced, likely familial, sleep phase/pattern, or morning lark. My rhythm is more like 4 a.m. wake up, compared to an 8 a.m. norm. So for me, no matter when I go to sleep, whether throughout the day I've been exercising, busy brain, idle brain, when I wake up I'm up. We started with sleep training in CBT, edit, not cock and ball, ha ha ha, very funny. https://en.m.wiki/cognitive_behavioral_therapy_for insomnia, but it did not work. Then we went to medication, vitamin D and melatonin, without success. Now I have Zopiclone for break-fix nights. Alcohol makes my sleep horrible, so indulging is an infrequent luxury. I cannot use Zopiclone all the time, but often enough to smooth out my life, which was previously filled with frequent unbearable days. Fortunately, Zopiclone works very well for me. I take half a pill at, for example, 430, and it gets me to 630 to 7 without any grogginess. Edit. I will add, I maintain fanatically religious sleep hygiene. I have not been out of bed between 10 to 11 p.m. since the pandemic started. Outside of the pandemic would be only if some one-off activity, sporting event, family gathering, etc. I have found that to not help, whether I sleep at 8 p.m. or 1 a.m., or 11 p.m., I am often, if not always, extremely challenged. Going through life in this way was hurting my relationships, work, health, etc. I have had this treatment for about 4 years now. I have never had to bump up my consumption of Zopiclone above the limit, and I notice no other effects. There have been times where I have no idea how I would have made it through a week without it. Other weeks I can self-manage. I touch base with the sleep doctor minimum once a year, or when something changes. Overall I am okay, but it is slowly getting worse. I am waking easier, and it's getting less frequent that I can get to sleep on my own. Sometimes I can live with it, sometimes I need a pill. I have never had a circumstance of my pills not working, and I have stayed within my treatment schedule. Edit 2. For myself, I have tried pot in various forms as well as other medication. I would recommend before people venture down the self-medicating path that you see a medical professional. I have a sustainable situation that I have maintained for about 4 years. If you need help, ask your doctor.
We started with sleep training and CBT, but it did not work. I am surprised the cock and ball torture didn't work.
Yeah, cognitive behavioral therapy did nothing for me. I would try cock and ball torture if I thought it would help. Sex sometimes helps, but often it just makes me feel better. Nothing wrong with that, but the goal is sleep.
Laying there is definitely not helpful. But neither is just getting up. What I learned from insomnia therapy, CBT, is you should get up, sit down in another room, or at least away from your bed, and do something like read the paper or play solitaire. Something that doesn't keep you up, but takes your mind off things. I usually listen to a podcast or audiobook. When you feel tired again, try going back to bed. If you can't sleep, at least you gave your brain a little extra time to rest.
I relieve all the awful, uncomfortable, embarrassing, humiliating experiences or mistakes I've made in my entire life and deride myself for being an idiot, because that's a really useful way to spend time at 3:30 a.m. And then I fantasize about winning the lottery. Edit, we may all feel lousy in the middle of night, but at least now we know we're not alone, and that gives me lots of solace and hopefully for some of you as well.
Thank you. I knew I wasn't alone. It's a shitty cycle because you can't fall asleep, because it all just raises your anxiety and brings self-loathing and panic and concern about long-term effects. I end up tired. And hating myself.
That's me right now. I usually browse Reddit for a while or watch YouTube until I get sleepy again.
Sometimes it gets really bad, and you just lay there, then the sun comes up and the birds start singing and all you can think is, fuck.
I'm there. Right now.
Same, woke up near 4 and am still up, except I almost never get sleepy again.
My body hasn't let me sleep for more than 4 hours a day for years. I usually go on Discord and talk to my cousins who live in Ireland. I live in the States. If they're not on, I just do whatever. Edit, thank you for worrying about my health, everyone who is, but I've been checked out multiple times by my doctor and specialist. I've had my head scanned and had an electroencephalogram. Basically, they attach little discs to your head and monitor your brain activity. They did this while I slept, and they noticed no strange activity. They also did this in the middle of the day another time. Thanks for worrying, but I have had it checked out by specialists who said nothing appears to be wrong. Edit 2, woke up a little while ago, and actually timed my sleep last night. According to the clock app on my phone, I slept 4 hours and 2 minutes. Still feel refreshed.
Do you suffer from it, or is it enough?
No, I don't suffer from it. I feel completely fine for the rest of the day.
Username does not check out, P.
Maybe camels like anxiety.
I'm breaking my rules by being on Reddit, but here you go, fellow insomniacs. 1. Do not get on your phone, turn on the TV, or turn the lights on if your intent is to go back to sleep. You're just going to fuck up your brain. 2. Lay still, close your eyes, and start with the letter A. Name 5 things from a category that start with A. Baby names, city names, items in a grocery store, types of animals, things you would find in an office, whatever. Name 5 things from that category that start with the letter A, then move on to the letter B, then C, and so on. I skip Q and X. 3. If you make it through to Z, move on to another category.
I started doing this with people's names unbeknownst that it was a trick to fall back asleep, but I gotta agree that it can help a bit. Only thing is, for me, it either works fairly quickly, within 30-45 minutes, or it doesn't at all. Objects or categories or whatever is probably a better one though. Names occasionally leads me down a rabbit hole of oh right. James. I remember the time in high school when we which can be not great in terms of slowing down your thoughts.
I've been trying this the past few weeks and rarely get through a few letters before falling asleep. This is my new go-to.
I do this until my intrusive thoughts get in the way. Feo.
Masturbate.
Came here for this comment.
Fun fact, this actually works for men, not sure about women. But masturbating debilitates the mind enough to get you hoozy and may even help with falling back to sleep. It's a proven stress and even pain reliever, so it ultimately comforts you enough to help with sleep. Thumbs up. Light skin tone.
I've found that even if it makes you sleepy, the cleanup after jacking off will take away the sleepiness.
Real men swallow their jizz after jacking off.
Is a sign of true compassion, because that way you don't lose any of your unborn children. They just cycle through your system and end up back where they started.